Name your poison. The euro, bank stocks, oil and peripheral debt all take a hammering as Spain's troubles mount. A sovereign bailout seen closer after media reports that up to 6 regions could ask Madrid for financial assistance. Let's take a closer look at the euro. It seems to be the big story of the day. I'm joined by Reuters FX analyst Neil Kimberley. Neil, plenty to talk about. You've been a euro bear for what, how long now?
Far too long.
Far too long. You could be making a lot of money.
It doesn't get any better, though, does it?
It doesn't,
I mean, Axel, I mean, you've just come back from 2 weeks in Spain, and from what you were saying to me before we came on air, it doesn't look too good over there. But the weekend's news has come out. You know, if you're an Asian investor and you've been broked into buying this stuff by Mr. Zapatero back in 2010 or early 2011, you're sitting there thinking, where is Castilla-La Mancha? And all of a sudden you're wearing it. Now, the bond market's delivered its verdict this morning here, and not only is it Spanish paper, the yields are going up right across the curve in Spain. So there's nowhere for the Spanish government to run at the same time as its GDP is contracting. It's got 24.6% unemployment and 50% youth unemployment.
Well, we've heard this before, haven't we? Let's face it, we've heard it before. Anything standing between here on this level and the 2010 lows at, what was it, 118.75?
I think that's where she wants to go to, but I'm actually quite surprised at the poise that the euro's got this morning. And we've gapped down in Asia, and potentially London or New York may want to fill that gap up to 121.60. But I think, Axel, there's a lot of optionality down here. I'm talking about barriers at 120.75, barriers at 120.50. But when I'm talking to people in the Far East this morning, they're looking for levels to sell the euro now. So offers coming in 121.40, 121.50, and certainly around the level where New York closed on Friday, around that 121.60.
So that's a big switch, because when we've talked about this before, you talk to the Asian central banks a lot. They've been staunch euro buyers, but that support is really fading.
Axel, they're getting hammered both sides. You've got this news coming out of Spain over the weekend. The Italian yields are up as well. I think there's 10 cities mentioned in one of the Italian newspapers that have been financial difficulties. And not only that, the ECB cuts the deposit rate to 0%. So at best now, if you're an Asian central bank and you've got cash and you're putting it on deposit in a call account, you're getting 0. It's just not good enough, frankly, given all the stuff you've been sold. So you're looking for levels to get out there. And let's not forget, Axel, the poor old Swiss National Bank sitting there on the bidding euro Swiss, he is getting them left, right and centre. He has to unwind those euros to diversify his FX reserves. Now, there's been a lot of euro Aussie left-hand side put down to him. A lot of euro stocky put down to him. Can't prove it, but they've been coming to the left. You have to assume that someone like that, if the euro dollar bounces from here, is also a seller. Question is, who's buying it?
Yeah, sure. Euro yen, where's that going?
Euro yen, we've took out the margin calls for retail this morning at 95. 94 is another issue. 93 is another place where margin calls are going to come in. We're approaching levels now where the Japanese must be getting worried. 105 is where the budget levels are for the Japanese exporters. This is like 10% lower. That takes a big chunk out your earnings, and it's going to start the alarm bells ringing in the Ministry of Finance. I think we're going to see an increase in rhetoric now from the Japanese. Mr. Azumi on the wires already. I don't think they're necessarily going to push the button on intervention yet, because when you look at the yen against some of the other crosses, Aussie yen, Canada yen, sterling yen, we're nowhere near the yen strength that we saw. This is more of a euro problem. And on dollar yen, that could be the trigger. If the euro yen collapses further and drags the dollar yen down to the low 77s, then I think you've got a problem. But at the moment, I think they'll hold fire. They'll increase the chatter, but I don't think they're ready to push the panic button, because they know, for example, if they had to buy euro yen, there's plenty of people who want to give them.
Brilliant. Great Kimberley insight, the Kimberley instinct. Thanks a lot, Neil. That is it for now. Join us this time each weekday for Market Pulse, a snapshot of what's moving on financial markets and why. I'm Axel Threlfall. This is Reuters.